we have a simple test using a number of squares. How many squares do we see on this board? If you have an answer, just shout it out.
16.
16. In stereo, that was perfect. Now that's the first response. We look at it quickly, we see 16. But if we look at it a little closer, I see Linda, is it? Linda's counting. How many do you see, Linda?
No rectangles?
Okay. Well, they might actually be rectangles. They're not exactly mathematically squared out.
Okay, 21.
Okay, 21. All right, so I think Linda's seeing that, yes, we have these 16 individual squares, but if we look at this from another perspective, if you look at it a little closer, you can take 4 squares and put them together to get a square. You can take these 4 squares and put that together. You can do that 9 times on this board, so it takes 16 squares, and all of a sudden we have 25 squares. But you can go a step further and take 3 by 3 squares. So these 9 squares make a square, these 9 squares make a square. You can do that 4 times. All of a sudden now we have 29, but this whole thing itself is a square. So all of a sudden we've gone from 16 squares to having at least 30 possibilities. Maybe there's more, but that's all that I've counted anyway. But let's take this a step further. We're looking. At first, we're not quite seeing. Let's take this a step further and go over this gentleman over here. What's your name?
Chris.
Chris?
Yes.
Chris, how are you at math?
Horrible.
Horrible. That's perfect. This is gonna be a little lesson for both of us. As I said, I'm terrible with math, but I've been practicing a certain type of equation, and you're gonna help me out. Chris,
Okay.
It's simple for you. Any number, just name any number between 1 and 9. 8. The number 8. Chris's number 8. And you're going to choose anyone else here. They're going to choose another number between 1 and 9. Choose anyone else.
Jeff.
Jeff. 5. Oh, would you like the 5 to the right or to the left?
To the right.
To the right. All right. So it could have been the number 58, but you chose it for it to be 85. Really, it could have been any 2-digit number, right? This is where I get nervous because now I have to test my math skills. Does anyone have a watch with a second hand? Or maybe an iPhone with an app? Jeff does? You have one? All right, you're going to time and see how long it takes me to fill in these squares. I'm running the number 85 through this equation. When you're ready, just say go. Go. You can read my writing after this. All right, I think, and time, how far do we get?
21 seconds.
21 seconds. I was doing this last week, or actually earlier this week, it was over a minute long. Now it was in how many seconds?
21 seconds.
21 seconds. I've been practicing, ladies and gentlemen, take a look. Thank you. That's my show. Good night. This is a 65, by the way. I was doing this kind of quickly. Now, I know it doesn't look like much when we look at it quickly. But if we take the moment to take a step back and look at this from another perspective, we're going to... Oh, this is an 8, by the way. When we look at this from another perspective, we'll see the number 85 depicted several ways on this board. Once you think you see the 85, other than at the very top, just shout it out. Where is the number 85?
The first square.
Where is it?
The first square. So 8, 11, 1, and 65.
Oh, okay, so 8 plus 11 is 19. 19 plus 2 is 21, plus 64 is 85. So that's the whole first row, right? But it's not just the first row. 65 plus 1 is 66, plus 7 is?
73.
Plus 12 is? Every row. 66 and 4 and 9 and 6 is 85. 3 and 67 and 5 and 10 is 85. Thank you. But it's not just the rows. You can take the columns as well. 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 plus 66 is 55, plus 10 is? 85. We have 5 and 4 is 9, plus 65 is? 74 plus 11 is? 85. 2 and 7, 9 and 67. 64, 12, 6 and 3 is?
85.
You see, that's all the rows, all the columns, but the diagonals as well. 64 plus 7 plus 4 plus 10 is 85. 8 plus 65 plus 9 plus 3 is 85. But remember, we can take 4 squares together. 8 plus 1 plus 65 plus 11 is 85. 64, 2, 7, 2 is 85. We have 6, 3, 67, 9 is 85. 66 plus 10 plus 5 plus 4 is 85. Oh my goodness, and yes, there's more than one way to have a successful outcome. The old way of doing things isn't the only way of doing this. In fact, just when we think we've exhausted every possibility, we realize we haven't. Because the corners, 64 plus 8 plus 3 plus 10 is 85. Thank you very much. And let's also give a big hand to Chris and Jeff for helping us out with that.
You said you weren't good at math.
I thought I wasn't.
Oh, ye of little faith. Taking a step back, looking at things from another perspective, I'm reminded of, there was a playing card company founded in Japan in 1889. They were in a situation, they ran into a lemon, and they had a choice to either ignore it, maybe give up, keep doing things the way they had been, or taking a step back, consulting other people on their team to get their perspective and try something new. Now this proved very helpful because their lemon was, in the 1950s, they saw that the sale of playing cards were plummeting worldwide. But by trying something new, by trying new things in the ensuing decades, even though the playing card sales had been falling, they still maintained success and momentum because they had started to make new types of games and toys in the electronic market. And in the ensuing decades, this snowballed into the multi-billion-dollar company that we know today as Nintendo. The Nintendo Playing Card Company, that's what they were originally called in 1889. If they had stuck, when they found their lemon, if they had stuck to making playing cards, there's a good chance they would not have had the explosive growth that they had, and we probably wouldn't even know the name Nintendo. So like the squares, like the number 85, if we're looking for new solutions to new problems, but we're not seeing, all we have to do is take a step back and look at things from another perspective.